So tell me about this event. You had said when you were talking with CNN that there were some security concerns with this particular event, which is why you had some security out there for it. But it's contrary to what I've seen reported in a couple of places. This is just it's owned by the school, but it's just a public facility. Anybody can rent it out.
It is a public facility. It's advertised as a convention center. So outside group wanted to rent it, and we're of course aware of that there might be some concerns, and we prepared for that, and obviously our preparations were adequate. We didn't have any advanced knowledge to treat it differently. Certainly there was, like I said, there was concerns, but
right.
there was no information, no advance warnings from anywhere in the Homeland Security or anyone else like that.
When were you made aware of what had happened yesterday?
Probably about 10 minutes after it happened.
Oh, wow. And what were your initial thoughts?
Well, of course, my concern is to hopefully that there would be no one injured, no citizens involved. But it was very early, and had to wait really to find out what was going on.
And that's always the difficulty whenever you have, obviously tragic incidents like this. Well, it wasn't tragic thanks to the quick-thinking Garland PD, but and the security and the measures that you all had taken in advance of this. But whenever you have a lot of information coming out of a developing story, because there were reports that, well, the Walmart was evacuated, and they were curious there were reports as to whether or not these terrorists maybe had planted bombs elsewhere. What do we know about, obviously I think at this point it's just been, the car was, from what I understand, they blew up the car just to check. They weren't able to find anything out there, and everything else is going on as business as usual now.
Yes, we had to be cautious, and the reason for considering that there might be incendiary devices had to be considered, so we wanted to be careful. We used our robots, and other agencies lent their robots so that we could get close and check it out. But at the end of the day, we didn't find any incendiary devices. There was the weapons, of course, and they had plenty of ammunition to go with them. So there could have been a much more dramatic incident if our officers had not been so prepared and been able to respond so quickly.
Do we know what, and only because I'm asking because I've seen it so widely reported in the media, do you happen to know what were the weapons that they had used?
I don't know.
Okay.
And those are all rumors at this point.
Yeah. I know. I had seen someone say, oh, they had AK-47s and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, well, that's virtually prohibited. So, and I don't know any terrorist coming from Phoenix that would drop a minimum of 20K on something like that. Let me ask you this, and Garland, Texas. This is Texas, Garland, Texas. This is a great community. This is it was right by the school, and you have families raising their kids here. Did you ever think? And I know no one really ever thinks, but considering the environment and the world in which we're living in now, did you ever think, Mayor Athas, as you ran for office and you became mayor, that you would ever have to deal with a situation like this?
Well, certainly not this particular situation, but I've been around the city for a long time, served on the city council for 6 years. And so there are a number of things that can happen, whether it's a Katrina where people are evacuated to your city or something of that nature. There are going to be emergency situations, and we prepare for those constantly, whether it's storm related or if it's something of this nature or fires. We have a large number of manufacturers in their city, so sometimes that there's been industrial fires and things that involved a lot of different fire elements. So we're prepared on a large number of scales constantly.